A Brazilian surgeon, Dr. Paulo Cesar Fructuoso, who for decades witnessed the spirit materialization, now unveils his experience in books and lectures. Part 2.
Spirit Connections.
Logo no início,
At the very
eu vi
beginning,
aqueles fenômenos.
as I saw those phenomena, luminous spirits coming out of the medium's cabin, well, of course, a newly graduated medical doctor feels touched by scientific curiosity. Who, as a doctor, wouldn't feel like getting information as to how these phenomena happen? Well, one thing I did not give the due importance to at that time was that those energies that came out of the medium's body and were used for the teletransportation of spirits are, in fact, sensitized even to our thoughts. So, I cannot take part in the sitting like that, thinking about the bills I have to pay tomorrow or the nuisance I had yesterday back at home or some annoyance I had during the week at my workplace, because I'll hinder the subtle and pure energies that are used by these highly evolved entities in intelligence and other aspects in the teletransportation and materialization of those doctors from the beyond. Well, in one of these meetings, I couldn't take my eyes off a materialized spirit who walked around the operating tables where 25 patients were lying, since we usually got this number of patients to each of those sittings, called healing sittings. I couldn't take my eyes off that spirit, and I'd forgotten that we were supposed to keep our mind control through a silent prayer, for example. And I also felt somehow uneasy when I got to know that the spirits who were being materialized were doctors like me, or had been doctors like me, but they wouldn't come to talk to me. Why didn't they come to talk to me, to another doctor, to tell me how they performed their work? And my focus on those entities that were walking around the operating tables may somehow have hindered their work. So much so that at a given moment, one of those medical entities, a German surgeon from the Nazi army, whose name was Friedrich von Stein, and who had approached our circle called Friar Louis, because in our school for more than 500 children, there were Jewish people incarnated, so the hatred was still there. But that doctor had fallen into the loving embrace of our spirit guide, Friar Louis, a German Franciscan friar who came to Brazil in the first half of the 20th century. He settled in Brazil, in Rio, where he carried out several wonderful deeds and was regarded almost as a saint. So by that spirit falling into Friar Luis's loving embrace, that doctor came to his senses about his wrongdoings, which he still kept doing. And after he became aware of that, he didn't manifest for 10 years after that. Then when he started manifesting again was when medium Gilberto Arrudas was already a member of the circle. And with his physical mediumship, he started carrying out all the wonderful deeds during the decades I was there and was able to witness. Well, then, in that sitting, that I couldn't take my eyes off that materialized spirit, Frederick, the spirit, turned to my direction. He was at the fifth table and slowly started walking towards me. He stood silent before me, and I wonder if he had captured my mental scientific curiosity, and a historic chat would then get started between two doctors. One who still keeps inhabiting a body in this world, it was me, an incarnate man, and the other who already had a body like mine but is alive on another plane of existence. He stared at me for a few seconds and said the following. For the first time, I heard the voice of a materialized spirit. Paulo Cesar, If you keep your curious stare at me, I'll be forced to stop the assistance to the sick. He turned around and went back to carry out the procedures he had been performing for the patient's own good. Then I became aware that I was disturbing the sitting. I'd forgotten that my mental energy, even though it was a scientific curiosity, was hindering the use of that environmental energy, which turned me into a sort of unsuitable member for the use of the sublime energies that were being handled by the spirits and the group.